first on the agenda. Are there any changes or items to stand?
Yes, if you could please delete Lake of the Torrent.
Right. Okay. Next, approve the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of May 17th.
Yes, the minutes of May 17th, sorry.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this?
I thought maybe you had said that the Plan B for the ATV should be removed, you and Eric had talked about that. Was that during that time, during the meeting?
Right, we did talk about that.
Have we noted?
I think they
altered their,
somebody withdrew the Plan B based on the
right.
lack of connecting
Yeah.
roads.
There's a new proposal. I think it's already up on the website, so I just want people to
I think she was just saying, as far as accuracy for the minutes, she was saying that there was during the meeting, there was a withdrawal Plan B. You can add that to the minutes.
Yes, that's well noted. All right, all in favor, say aye. Brian?
Aye.
The rest of the board?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed. Next, community concerns. Do we have any community concerns tonight? Anybody from our virtual? Okay, hearing none? Seeing none? We'll do, is there any liquor control tonight? No. Okay. New business. Approve the coin drop for Memorial Area Extension Network. Must be these ladies right here. How you guys doing? Who's the spokesperson?
I think I am. So we came to ask to get approval to do a coin drop because we're on year 2 of not being able to do the annual walk. Kathy has the numbers on financial for it. I don't know if Ian sent out the information I had emailed as far as location. No. Okay. So we were hoping, the location we were hoping to do is in front of Jamar's Carriage House on Brooklyn Street. We're hoping for Saturday, July 10th, and we're guessing like a 9 to 2, 9 to 3-ish. I've been working with Morristown PD, Andy and Richard a bit on a safety plan as far as location. It's 25 miles an hour town road. There's sidewalks on both sides of the road. We're gonna have 2 to 4 people on each side to keep the traffic flowing, so hopefully they weren't stopping very long. We're gonna put up signs, advertise, make sure all the cars are in Jamar's parking lot, out of the roadway. And then continue to work with Morristown PD on safety. That will get fire department to borrow their fines, because they have a coin drop every year. We're hoping to get an answer tonight. If not, we'll find cones and signage. We're only going to let adults be in the road, but under 18 will wear safety vests or white colored shirt.
And hours of the day you guys this?
We're planning on like 9 to 2, 9 to 3, I think even 10 would work. Hoping to catch the people going to the farmer's market, yard sale. That could be fun on Saturday.
Is there any comments from law enforcement, Jason or Richard?
Yeah, Tracy's been in contact with us, worked with Andy as well. Of course, that was the best possible place we thought they should do it. So, yeah, we're fully supportive of it. We do our best to have somebody there available. So, I think it should go well.
Good. What do you think, Dennis?
I don't see a problem with it. You want to get truck there?
I would think so, yeah.
I'm gonna bring it up to Happy Shop Saturday. What they're doing, and down to the tractor supply Saturday. They told me what they were doing it for. So, Mark's gonna have to trust the Happy Shop for what they're doing. Because it involves you guys. And if you want, we can bring the truck up, park it by the carriage house or something.
That's good for visibility, you know.
They won't miss that.
No.
No, and I just want to say that the walk over the last 18 years, we've raised almost $2.5 million for the network, and and 2 years of not raising money for them it's been a hit to them, for sure. They're into their emergency money. Last year we did raise $100,000 just by getting our sponsors to help us, and this year we're trying to raise $150,000. So we're asking for teams to step up a little bit, just different things. We're trying to do a luminary walk sometime in September up at the school, to do a little more fundraising. So we're sort of shifting this year to just try to do different fundraisers to try to help them. So we get $150,000 to help the network. Last year they wrote $336,000 check. So it doesn't take long to deplete that money when they lost our big fundraiser of a couple $100,000, plus every other little fundraiser all last year. They also lost. So they've not had a lot coming in. So we really need to try to boost them this year. And next year we'll have a walk and boost it as big as we can boost it to get it back up.
Yeah, wasn't the last time you had the walk, wasn't it 200,000 or 300,000?
We raised 223.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right. I mean, I thought we did pretty well last year for 100.
Yeah.
You know, just trying to tell people we need help.
Amazing.
Next year will be our 20th walk, so we'll really have to do a really good walk.
That's great.
So we're looking for a little help this year to help the network, which Erica is now the president of that. Enter.
Say that 20 years later, right?
Yeah, that's a phaser for.
Right. Once you're in, you're in. Now, is there any comments from the board, Brian?
No, I think it's a good idea.
Any of the rest of the board?
Very supportive.
Does
Do
someone
you
want
need
to
a motion for this?
Yes, you do.
Make a motion to approve the coin draw. Location described on Brooklyn Street, July 10th, somewhere between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m.
I'll second it.
I'll second it. Brian. Is there any further discussion on this? All in favor say aye, Brian.
Aye.
And the rest of the board?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed unanimously. Thank you.
Great. So now we'll leave to go to our meeting to tell everybody.
Right. Again,
Thank you very much.
thank you for what you guys do for the community.
Thank you.
I know it's, sometimes thankless, but you do great.
We appreciate the support.
All right. Next, number 3, withdrawal approval of Perseverance Lane road name.
Yeah, they decided that they're not going to subdivide, so they want to withdraw the road naming so they don't have to go through the process.
Okay.
Make a motion to withdraw the road name of Perseverance Lane.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Brian. Is there any further discussion on this? All in favor say aye, Brian.
Aye.
And the rest of the board?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is passed unanimously. Number 4, review and approve maintenance agreement between V-Trans and Morristown.
I'm going to have Gary talk about this. This is something I tried to get done for a few years. Todd tried to get done for a few years, and Gary got done in like 2 weeks.
Good job. You should have the right man doing it.
Wow, things are exactly like that, but. No, I was, a few years ago, I was kind of upset, and once they made Quick Street, basically the gateway to town, on that end, and couldn't get anybody to even mow the place, and I didn't think it was right that it wasn't taken care of the way it should be, and anyway, we ended up going to, I asked Todd to see what he could do about it, and we started conversations with Jeff Blanchard, AOT, and been back and forth several times, and anyway, this is the result of 2.5 to 3 years worth of work with AOT, just trying to get a maintenance agreement so we can mow this with the thing. So, I mean, that's all we want to do with it. They should probably maintain the parking lot. And actually, I've got a handshake promise to get the thing mowed and taken care of with no expense to the town for at least a while to come.
So the state's going to mow it?
No.
Who's going to mow it?
Terry Shelley. I was going down, I went out and mowed the park up on 15 last year, because the state wouldn't mow that either. And, but, yeah, that's gonna be taken care of, hopefully, so.
Great.
I propose to have everybody sign off on it.
What do you want to make a
Good
motion?
deal for the town.
On the motion regarding that?
I think we need one, yeah. Yes, you do.
So is this the piece of property you're talking about, mainly here?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
And is this town property?
no, it's state property.
Okay.
The state bought it, when they built the bypass, they bought this lot,
Okay.
and, the remainder that's here, and that's, so. All I wanna do in this, actually, in the future, I think it's probably be a town park
Okay.
down here, and that would also give us access.
Parking lot for,
Yeah,
this is sort of like down to Cluck parking.
yes, correct.
Okay.
And so, I just thought it'd be a good idea to be able to keep it mowed, so it looks halfway decent, coming into town.
It's nice.
Yeah.
All right, do we hear a motion?
Thank you, Karen.
Make a motion to approve the maintenance agreement between V-Trans and Morristown.
I have a motion
I'll
by
second it.
Eric, Second by Brian. Is there any further discussion?
Brian's got the one.
Brian, you're right on it tonight. You're not letting anybody in there.
Specifically, the motion, it's at the intersection of the bypass and Bridge Street, which is the man with the maintenance agreement from the dock.
Right. You seconded that, right, Brian?
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Brian?
Aye.
And the rest of the board?
Aye.
Right?
Motion is passed unanimously. Number 5, approve and sign Lamoille County Sheriff's Department agreement.
This is our dispatching contract for, fire ambulance and PD.
Is the cost, has it been affected from the sewer upgrade in Hyde Park?
This wasn't one of the things that would have been affected by that. This is, dispatching wouldn't have any effect by that. So the piece that will be affected by that is actually the, county property tax per se, because we have to pay a share, what's the word I'm looking for here, it's what we pay the county.
County tax,
The
it's
county
just
tax.
the tax for population, basically, that you have to pay the county to help run the courthouse and all that stuff.
Right, so this has nothing to do with that.
And just so that you know, this contract that you're signing is $2,500 less than the contract that we are in right now.
So the county tax and dispatch services are completely different.
Do we know why? What?
I don't know, I didn't ask. Different one.
My guess is, they have different contracts that they execute with a lot of different communities in the area. If they added somebody, or they able to do something a little different than the cost of account.
Okay. Do I hear a motion regarding this?
I'm going to abstain. I'm an employee of the sheriff's fund, so I will not be voting on this.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
You go, Brian. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Judy. Is there any further discussion about this? All in favor, say aye. Brian?
Aye.
And the rest of the board?
Aye.
Aye.
And we have one
Abstain.
abstain. Motion is passed. Okay. Number 6, approve and sign Village Center Apartments contract. Welcome, Jim.
Hi.
Do you have any comments about this?
Only that I think, all we're trying to do is fortify the MOU that we did.
Right.
Back when.
Right.
We're ready to go.
Can you give us an update of the project?
Sure, we have all of our permits, we have, our funding in place, which is really good. And, getting all our permits are in place, we have our, getting ready to start our site cleanup in the next couple of weeks. We'll have our full construction close in July 15th, and then we'll begin construction after that. We'll begin with, our infrastructure piece,
Right.
coming down Hutchinson Street, water, sewer down, sewer goes down further, stormwater. And we'll begin excavation and foundations, sometime in the fall, probably beginning of October or so. We'll begin, vertical construction. We're having it, the building panelized off-site. So we'll have a crane in place, and we'll bring the pieces in, build it up from there. The goal is to get it, month before winter, which is a real plus for us. On our past projects, started in October, winter conditions and all that. So we're really, ready to go. I'm personally pretty excited. Should be fun to do, too. It'll be a little, it's tricky in there, it's a small lot, but, we've got a really good team on board for construction management team. I know they do a good job. Eric and Dan that been on site, a week ago. So I think we're pretty good.
Great. Any questions for Jim?
I don't have any questions, but I have a concern that, when the DRB required, LHP to put in the business in the bottom of the building, it caused LHP to spend approximately $53,000 extra on that building. I had to go and find other grant money. I know that they are giving the town about $35,000 toward the, parking lot. And I'd like for us to consider, removing part or all of that initial agreement, monetary agreement.
How does everybody feel about that? Any comments?
My opinion, I don't think the town ought to forego the $35,000.
What are your comments on that, Jim?
It was kind of a shock at the last minute. We were at over 90% of our construction drawings and ready to go out to bid at the time that happened. So we had to go back and redo a whole lot of our plans, as well as permits.
And that was, to allow for 500 square feet of commercial retail space, right?
Yes.
And that, what that did is it did away with one of the units?
No, we have to keep a unit because we need 24 units for the fund.
Okay, so it's just,
So, I understand. So what we had to do was, where the commercial space is located, what's going to be our ADA unit, our fully accessible unit. So we had to reconfigure that space, our commercial space, relocate an ADA unit, so take another unit and make it completely accessible. We had to redesign the ramp a little bit because we had to put a door coming out to where the ramp was for the commercial space. We had to add rated doors, windows for the commercial space because that's where two parking spaces are. And then we were going to have resident space on the third floor in order to keep the 24 units. We converted that space into other apartment. So now basically don't have a resident space. Because we're adding commercial, we had to amend our wastewater permit, amend our Act 50 permit, amend our state DPS permit, amend our bid sets and our plans and specs that we were ready to send out for bidding. We were lucky that we didn't have to change our sprinkler system to sonar rather than taking power away, which would probably add another $30,000 or so. So our costs were $18,000 to $20,000 in design work and permitting, and another $35,000 in construction changes.
got it all done now.
Yes. Yeah, and we did all, received a amended wastewater permit, amended activity permit, DPS permits, well,
Does anybody have any input on it or comments from what Judy said? What do you think is the thing? Brian, what is your feeling on this?
I'm not sure. I know I've read it to make sure that I don't understand how they're gonna get permits. The 16 permits it says, but it does say as the first one there, first served. Cause I don't think we should be marking parking lots just for that place, which I guess we're not, right?
No, we're not. That's
Yep.
a good point to bring up though, just for the public's information, that we're not.
There are designated overnight parking spots for the winter, but they're not designated for any one particular individual.
Right. Or apartment,
Or apartment, or.
right. And that's good to bring up and clarify for everybody.
Yeah.
And so you have your funding for the parking lot contribution.
we do, we actually got donations from local.
Okay. Eric, you can comment on it. As a selectman.
Yes. Well, I mean, the 35,000 was a trade-off of the 16 products. I don't see, it's like I segment, that's how my brain works, I segment everything. So, being the money was there for the parking lot in return for us dedicating 16 spots to members of that, or residents of that building. I think it should stay as it is, because it doesn't have anything to do with the change that was made, which created this funding piece. That's just the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it, there was a town board that made the changes, which then impacted the amount of money that LHP had then had to go back out to get to honor the agreement they made with us. So even if it's not all, then some part of it.
We were obviously really caught off guard with that, we didn't know that was going to happen, like, very top time. Obviously, we were disappointed with the outcome and with the additional cost, but we're prepared to honor our agreement with the town. We will expect to do that, and I appreciate you with what you're talking about here. I would hope in the future these things don't happen again. The building was approved without the commercial use, and it was actually for a whole year, and then all of a sudden, right at the end, it was like having to work without one person, having to scramble around to get that done. That thing's kind of ready to start. Right.
Okay. Dennis, you have a comment?
Well, that cost them more money. So I spoke to a young lady on that lot, wanted to know what kind of phone we use. Well, the phone we use, they gotta take that land up and get rid of it, it's not cheap. So I don't know about the DRB or what the agreement is there, but I know one phone call talking with this young lady, you found out we use Solex AFFF. I thought it would be that deal
From the fire.
from the fire, because it's the backbone. So, that's all, I just wanna let you guys know.
Right.
Whatever their costs were, well, it just got added.
Right. Was it a brownfield issue?
Yeah. I wanted to tell her good news for you.
Right. Yeah.
Should I comment?
Absolutely, Ron, go ahead.
As a representative of the Morristown Conservation Commission, we sort of follow in this town. And unfortunately, for this particular situation, it should have been recognized up front that there were zoning regulations in place that require the floor space of the building to be the commercial use. Now, on the past meeting I attended with the planning council, was a movement to try and do away with that particular regulation. Now, we've had to make zoning changes in this town. But there's got to be a negative repercussion from the public. Sometimes it's gonna come back to the select board. So I'm looking ahead. The regulations there on any more commercial development. The lower ground is supposed to be for commercial use. And then above it is livable space.
Right, that was, and I believe that I would say regulation that was waived initially.
Who would have the power to waive it?
I think the DRB.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But they approved it. They approved that they required this developer to have one space commercial, to agree with the zoning regulations.
The initial,
Are we gonna agree with the zoning regulations?
the initial decision was waived, and then it was changed a year or a year plus later.
So I'm looking ahead
Right.
about changes to the zoning regulations.
I also think it depends on the property. Like, that's a very unique property where it is, and I personally don't think there needs to be commercial space there. It's that side street, I wouldn't have voted for it, you know, if it was me, and I don't think you did either.
I didn't vote for it.
Yeah, and, every property is different. It's one thing for right on the main street here, but that's a side street, and it's really limited access, there's no parking, it's really hard to get to if you have a store or any kind of thing there. It's a challenge.
That's really why we have development review boards too.
But-
Because when you have unique situations.
That's exactly what a DRB is for.
Yeah.
So, but as it votes went, it required it, you know, second time around. Do you have any comment about it, Dan? You've been pretty quiet.
I think I'll pass on commenting on that. I mean, all I can say is that at the time, the original permit, and when it was issued, the DRB waived it. Subsequently, the bylaws were changed, went back to the DRB. And the process, I guess, from my point of view, the process that was supposed to be was followed as it should have been. And I think that's what we are responsible to do, make sure the process was followed. Ultimately. So was the process followed? Yes. I don't think I'm in a position to agree or disagree with any board's decision. That's not my role.
Well, I certainly understand where Judy's coming from, and I respectfully disagree. I don't see it go as it is, but I totally understand what you're saying. And it was in fact the town's decision, a town board's decision that led to a higher cost for that project, and it did. We're sorry. No, but I'd still like to go forward as it is. I don't know if you guys want to, take a poll vote here on it or what, but this is not what the motion's for tonight, but.
No, I understand that.
Right. I understand where you're coming from. Shall we entertain a motion on this?
So the motion is just to accept
The contract.
the MOU.
No, I put the MOU in there because that was one that was approved by both parties a while ago. And this agreement, will supplant that because it's a formal agreement now.
Yeah.
So I put that in there because that's the one that you approved earlier, when this whole process started a long time ago, so that you have a point of reference. So the agreement is what you're going to approve now.
The motion is to accept the memorandum of understanding between Rural Housing Partners and the town of Morristown.
No, the motion would be, to approve the agreement.
This one?
Yes.
Okay. Motion is to accept the agreement between the town of Morristown and the Village Center Apartments Limited Partnership. So is there anything else that needs to go with that?
Who's gonna be the authorization? Signatures. Is that part of the motion or does it matter?
In this particular case, it has to
Yeah.
And authorize Dan to sign the agreement.
Was that a motion, Judy?
Yes.
Okay. I have a motion by Judy and a second by Eric. Is there any further discussion on this? All in favor, say aye. Brian?
Aye.
The rest of the board?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed unanimously. Thank you.
If you can, I will just be talking our last. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in tonight.
Look forward to it.
We'll see you many times.
Yeah. Thanks for the update, too. Great. Thanks. Next, MCT update request for Rickerson Farm. Is that you, Ron? Brent? Welcome.
I left, something with Dan earlier today, which was a front page of, article
Yeah,
published by Comcast.
great photo.
And, you know, Route 100 is, sort of a designated scenic route. And I think that this particular project is going to help to maintain the scenic route, land and resources that's good for all people. And my group voted unanimously to donate $500 out of our, fund. And I don't see that this is gonna hurt us with some of our other projects, but you want to add anything, perhaps?
No, I don't think so. It's a big project, and, farmland is part of Vermont. Farmland is disappearing, as we know. Farms is disappearing. I think when we have a chance to save a valuable piece of farmland that's part of Morristown, even though it's across the line, I can see it from my house. You know, I think we need to keep some of the farmland in farmland, and that's why we voted for it. This is a valuable piece. It's a big project, and that's a very doable project. Like any irrigation, place with the first step, $500, and every little bit of support on that. So that's all.
Is the plan to keep it a working farm?
Yes. Yeah, but times on working farms are pretty hard to do. We're doing absolutely no guarantee on anything. Except the land is there before, as a farm. It will not be developed, it will be worked as a farm. So somebody will come along and use it for some agricultural purposes, but I'm hoping that we don't even have some cows, but at least it'll be there to look at and enjoy.
Exactly.
And talking to Ron earlier, part of this is in Morristown, right?
It's, about a 25-acre parcel,
Yeah.
and it borders Molly's Pond, owned by EBM. And if you look at the map, it's primarily all wetland.
Right. Yeah, I know where that is.
Probably there's nothing.
Get through it. Not apart from your land over there either.
So are we looking for a motion here to review anything?
$500.
$500? I make a motion to approve the $500 donation to the, what do you call it? The Rickerson Farm
Conservation project.
Conservation Project. Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion by Eric and a second by Judy. Is there any further discussion on this? All in favor, say aye. Brian?
Aye.
The rest of the board?
Aye.
Motion is passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, it's funny, I was driving through there with my nephew about a week ago, and my nephew said, boy, what's gonna happen someday when this house is all over here? And I said, well, you know, I believe there's a plan to conserve all this property, so all stays farmland. And he said, that's great. And I said, yeah. Yeah, but, I mean, without this, it certainly could be developed, and you could see 80 houses out in there.
Like I said, the Route 100 is a scenic route, and it would be quite an alteration to see
Wow.
a lot of houses out there.
Yeah, I like it as it is, like Brent was saying.
And that is some of the best agricultural soils in the state. I mean, that is the best in the world. If you look at what Canada's done to crops on that for the last 50 years, and they produce good crops. It's valuable land to keep.
available for us to grow food or whatever we need to.
Is there any kind of an approval process going forward if, once the, Mr. Rickson's not there anymore, or somebody comes in there and, per se, wants to start a pig farm right beside Route 100? Is there anybody, does the conservation, still conservation?
Thank you, John. All right, next, number 8, 2021 Building Scholarship Award.
This is an annual scholarship given to the CPA. Local applicants, that's outlined upstairs, it's $500. For sure, plenty of money in the account to do that. Yeah, and you need to tell the right.
I don't remember doing this last year, did you?
We did.
Yeah, we've done that.
Yeah, we've done that several years now. Yeah. Last year was fall. All right, do I have a motion regarding this?
I make a motion that we allow a scholarship in the amount of $500 to go to Colin Lane.
Thank you, Brian. I have a motion by Brian, and a second by Judy. Any further discussion on this? All in favor, say aye. Brian?
Aye.
And the rest of the board?
Aye.
Motion is passed unanimously.
I appreciate Sarah putting the history in there. It was a nice.
That's great. All right, next, number 9, approve fiscal year 1920 ambulance write-off. This is just a normal thing that we didn't collect on.
What we did every year.
Yeah.
And I put in what we're writing off in the year before, because that's always the question is what were we doing the year before?
Right.
You can see that we're doing more calls this year than, or 1920 than we did in 1819, but we're actually writing off less of a percentage of billing calls.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Great.
I spoke to the president of the Vermont Association, just to kind of get a perspective of where our numbers are in relationship to our services. And he was actually pretty flabbergasted that our write-offs actually went down 1%, while our call volume and billing went up. Ambulance services in Vermont, at least the ones that do report on us through the Ambulance Association, are generally running a write-off between 10 and 12%. So the fact that we were 8.7 the year before and now down to 7.9.
That's great.
That's a great trend, and it's really two people. Corey on our side, checking the calls, getting them coded correctly on our side, and then Tina getting the billing done promptly and coded correctly on her side. That we're having as low a write-off percentages as we are.
And being able to communicate effectively with insurance companies.
Right.
Has a lot to do with it too.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Do I hear a motion regarding these write-ups?
I make a motion that we accept the uncollectible ambulance.
Right off fiscal year 1920.
What she said.
I have a motion by Judy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Eric. Any further discussion on that?
I just, in the movie here, what are billable calls?
All calls that we actually bring somebody to a hospital or somewhere are billable. If you fell down and you called us, we come and help you get up, but if you didn't want to go to the hospital, we don't bill for that. So that's where you get, when you look in here, you get the no transport, that's what that's about. Or if we do like a fire standby, we have to go and wait, but we don't transport anybody, that's a no transport. Anything else that we actually move a body is considered a billable cost. We bill all the insurance that we can bill, and we bill individuals, and if they cannot afford it, or they don't make contact with us or respond, we just write those off.
Those are the write-offs. And like for hardship or something, if they don't have
No,
insurance.
I understand.
Right,
I just didn't know what
Yep,
we
and
do to this operation.
And there's different levels between the billing. Some of them are billed at one rate as a BLS, a basic life support call.
Right.
There's another billing level for advanced life support. There's another billing, there's two different levels under that. There's another level we'll talk about here a little bit about special care transport. It goes back to, you've heard me in the past talk about the cost of readiness versus the cost of response. The cost of readiness is that baseline budget that we work on every year, that frankly taxes are the beginning of that for us. The cost of response, actually going out to get somebody the care delivered and the transport to the hospital is made up or partially covered by the billing side. So there's two different sides here. The cost of readiness, and that cost of readiness includes the no transports, the motor vehicle crashes that we go to with no injuries, supporting our fire and police colleagues when they're on a scene and we're doing a standby. That whole absorbing that cost of readiness. The patient billables offset some of that cost of response.
Thank you. That's great. Thanks, Bill. Any further discussion on this? All in favor, say aye. Brian?
Aye.
And the rest of the board? Motion is passed unanimously. Next, number 10, approve Ford F-350 regular cab and body purchase. We got some new paperwork on that, right?
Yeah.
Any comments, Kevin?
I believe the first one is for, village truck,
Right.
cab and chassis, dual wheel on the rears, and that's the purchase and then the body. At this point, I come in with a bid with Store Auto, not the cheapest round by a couple of thousand compared to everybody else.
That's good.
They saw body and bottom.
Okay.
It's a little more expensive than plow, if I just look at it as a plow.
Right.
That package is cheaper than, Whiting or HP.
Okay. And the second one,
And the second one is a pickup basically for myself.
single rear wheel.
Single, yes. It's got the super caps, it's a little extra,
Not approved.
not approved,
Yeah.
it's an extra cab on it. And if we're going with again the plow from, Store Auto, because it'll be the exact same plow, exact same setup. The plow itself is a few $100 more than Store Road, but versus driving all the way to New Hampshire for AG, it's a wash.
Right. Well, I know Todd's at Fisher Tech too, he's like,
And Todd's very good for, he's very good at what we have right now.
right. All right, do I hear a motion regarding these, want to do them separately?
Or anything to I didn't even do electric,
Electric stuff,
not yet.
that'll be coming.
Eventually.
And you believe, I don't know if you've noticed, also there are 22 models,
Yeah,
not 21s, because I can't get 21s.
right.
There are too many issues with getting chips.
I move that we approve the purchase of the 2022 Ford F-350 regular cab from Heritage for a total purchase price of $58,472. This includes a 7-year warranty.
All right, I have a motion by Eric, do I have a second?
Second. Gary,
Who won that one?
Gary.
Second by Gary. Any further discussion?
Yes, Bob. Did we get
Go
any
ahead,
other
Bob.
bids? Did we get any other bids besides Heritage?
Yeah, it's Memorial Valley.
Memorial Valley.
Okay. I just wondered, I didn't see them, so I didn't know if we got any other bids.
Yeah,
That's
there
all
was
I
on
need.
the,
Yep.
yeah. On the
Okay.
original paperwork, we did get the other bids.
Yep.
Thanks, Brian. All in favor, say aye. Brian,
Aye.
rest of the board?
Aye.
Motion is passed unanimously.
I move that we approve the purchase of a body for the 2022 Ford F-350 regular cab from Still Road Auto for a total price of $18,996. Total of the truck and body will be financed for 5 years.
I have a motion by Eric, and a second by
Second,
Judy.
hearing two.
Just for, just reading that, now that's just for the body, because we just voted on regular cab and body purchase.
Right.
What's, I didn't understand the motion first.
The first motion was just to buy the actual truck itself from Heritage. This is to buy the plow and the body for the truck you just approved.
Okay, because on the agenda it says truck and body purchase.
Right.
Oh, yeah, but, yeah, I'm doing two separate motions.
Okay.
So this is still the first truck?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Brian,
Aye.
the rest of the board?
Aye.
Motion is passed unanimously.
Now we'll go back up to the top, and start at the bottom.
Right.
Threw you all off, didn't I? I move we approve the purchase of a 2022 Ford F-350 Super Cab from Heritage for a total purchase price of $59,637. This includes a 7-year warranty.
I have a motion by Eric, and a second by Gary. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Brian,
Aye.
rest of the board?
Aye.
Motion is passed unanimously.
I move that we approve the purchase of a body for the 2022 Ford F-350 Super Cab from Stowe Road Auto for a total price of $7,386. Total of the truck and body will be financed for 5 years.
It does say body,
Okay,
but it's supposed to be plow, right?
so I'll amend my motions on this and the previous regular cab.
No,
No? Regular cab's okay?
The first one's right.
All right,
Person was correct.
okay,
It is, it's just a typo there. It's supposed to say plow.
okay.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? No? I thought Gary was second on that. Yep. Did you get that second? All in favor, say aye. Brian,
Aye.
and the rest of the board?
All right.
Motion is passed unanimously. Thank you. Next, approve EMS service license upgrade draft. Bill?
Hi, good evening. In your packet, we sent you a proposed draft of upgrade to special care transport critical care paramedic. Let me say up front here that we are not looking to get into scheduled non-emergency transfer of state patients. We have been for the last, at least since my arrival here and probably before that, when there is a critically ill patient at Copley Hospital that has a time-sensitive issue that requires emergent transport, and we are the closest available ambulance. We have been doing those as 911 calls, treating them like a 911 call, and getting the patient moved to tertiary care often. So we've already kind of been doing that. It doesn't happen often, but it happens enough that we've been doing it when we can. With the addition of Chris Clement as a full-time medic, it now gives us 2 members who are certified to critical care level. Critical care level is the next step beyond paramedic. It works under an expanded scope of practice that's included in your packet of pharmacy procedures, things like that. Basically, what we're looking to do is for those patients that we are already moving emergently when they need to, allow the staff to who are certified at that level to practice at that level. And in turn, it allows us to bill those calls, not as an ALS call, but as a special care transport call, because we would have the endorsement on our license to do that. That's basically the request we're making here. This is the start of the process. There's the draft, if approved tonight, the draft would go to Dr. Gannon and Copley and Dr. Wilson and CDMS for approval. And then we would be able to start up and running once that endorsement was formally placed on our license of the state. Number of calls we would predict for this is probably 10 to 12 a year. Yeah. Again, it's it's kind of acuity dependent and who else is available to do the transfer kind of thing.
Hopefully lower than that.
Right, yeah, no, I agree, because, these are the, like I said, my comment, these are the sick patients, who need urgent tertiary care that's not available at the local hospital. And it's really time dependent for them to get there. There are a plethora of reasons why people may be moved by ground.
That was another question.
Helicopters not available, weathered in,
Right.
that kind of thing, that we may be asked to do that. So with the addition of Chris, we've now got scheduled 96 hours a week of critical care paramedic availability on our schedule, with the ability for Chris, who lives in town, to possibly come in for additional ones as needed. It's one of those things that we're going to have to shake it out once we get up and running. But that's basically the Cliff Notes kind of version. When we're doing these transfers, it's a service that we want to offer because we have people who are certified, educated, and do the work to get that level. Again, it gives us the ability to legit bill at that level, especially care level.
Yeah, it's almost like having a doctor on board, nearly. It's pretty impressive. That's why my question was, that level is between light flight, something like that, like you said.
Yeah, well, essentially, when you look at either the critical care ground transports from UVM and Dartmouth, those are staffed by critical care nurses and critical care paramedics.
Right.
Chris is certified at the flight medic level, which in the state of Vermont is recognized as a critical care.
Yeah.
So.
It's great service. It's pretty great that we have it right here. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So, like, we're occasionally moving these patients already, and this kind of just formalizes, has a policy and procedure and protocols in place, that's medically approved, has your approval at the town level, and ultimately has the approval at the state and district level. There are 9 other services in the state certified at this level, and we would be the northernmost.
That's awesome. And we can bill at the higher level.
Yes, sir. For those critical calls.
So who's gonna cover the station while that ambulance is out?
The way we do that now, when that happens, is when there is an urgent transfer that needs to be moved, Corey and I are both called. Either one of us or both of us try to get in, or one of us will start heading in while the other one starts finding station coverage. To date, we have not had an issue finding station coverage. Since we view these as emergency calls, and we treat them like 911 calls, if there was a call that we did not have a backup crew in place for, it would roll to mutual aid like any other 911 call.
So this is not meant to badmouth NEMS. And my comments to follow are not meant to badmouth NEMS. However, Copley Hospital being right across the road, with that certification, are the ER doctors now going to be going to you, or do they have NEMS primary, Morristown secondary? My concern is that they would all of a sudden realize, oh, now they have the certification, we'll just grab Morristown, they're convenient and close. Rather than now our calls are 10 to 12, go to 25 to 30, and we're paying out overtime hours, lots of them, for staff, the double coverage, you know, and or backfill the bar.
Yeah, I appreciate what you're saying, and that's been a discussion that I've had with ED leadership already, is that, we're basically looking just to formalize the process for what we're doing already, not necessarily to pick up extra work.
But that is my understanding, that's our understanding here, is because they very well explained that, but Copley Hospital's not here. And I want them to clearly understand that does not make you guys primary call. They already have NEMs on board doing that, but I don't want patients sitting there longer than they need to be, obviously. I'm just saying, I just don't want Copley's ER department to think that now Morristown's the go-to.
Right, I'll be happy to carry that message back to them.
Thanks.
Thanks for the info, Bill. It's a great thing.
Yeah, excellent.
Do I hear a motion regarding that?
Make a motion that we accept, service license upgrade. Is that all I need to say?
To critical care paramedic.
Critical care paramedics.
I have a motion by Judy, do I have a second?
Okay.
Second by Gary. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Brian?
Aye.
The rest of the board?
Aye.
Motion is passed unanimously. Bill, I just want to thank you again for everything you do for Morristown Rescue. It's amazing to me. You know, I started on rescue in '82 and spent 35 years doing it, and what a different service it is today. And I think law enforcement and the fire department can all agree that rescue is just risen to a level of such professional, and it's just amazing we have that kind of service here. Just want to thank you.
It's you know, it's only as good as a team. And, we're blessed with a good team of people out there.
Right.
From our professional staff to our volunteer professional staff.
Right.
We're top to bottom, pretty happy with, the people that we have there and the ability, that they have, to do the job.
That's great. Thank you. All right, next. 13, one I hate to do.
Number 13,
Yeah.
excellent.
Accept Eric Dodge's resignation.
So I think
Eric,
we gotta,
what's that, Brian?
I think we ought to skip over this.
Thank you, Brian. I
Would you like
appreciate the comment.
to read your resignation?
I can, if you'd like me to.
I would like you to.
To the town of Morristown Selectboard, effective upon completion of the June 7th, 2021 Select Board meeting, I'm resigning my position on the Select Board. I do so to serve the citizens of Morristown as their interim town administrator. It has been an incredible learning experience to have participated in local government. I am continuously impressed by the volunteerism which is represented by our neighbors. Their willingness to serve on many boards, councils, and committees that contribute to the responsible growth of our community is commendable. The sacrifice to their family time didn't go unnoticed and is very much appreciated. I've had the pleasure of meeting and getting to know my fellow members of the Select Board. I have learned the importance of active listening as I heard points of view brought to the table. Every member brings experiences and perspectives that differ from my own. I believe it helped me when making decisions because I had a deeper understanding of the issues based on those differing perspectives. Thank you to those currently serving and to those that have served before. I have enjoyed my time in large part due to the atmosphere of mutual respect and community spirit which is present at every meeting, no matter the topic. We live in an amazing community. Sincerely, Eric Dodge.
Boy, that was good. Who wrote that for you?
You know, I called Homer. Yeah.
Well said.
Yep, I really have. I have had an absolute ball for 5 years and learned a ton about the function of municipal government, and I continue to learn. I've only just recently attended planning council meetings, DRB meetings, to get the full picture of how the entire package works. And I still haven't hit the entire package. I've never been to a rep committee meeting. There are committees and volunteer programs all over town here that I haven't attended and plan to because you can't understand how it all comes together and comes up to here 2 Monday nights a month, unless you do. But it has been fantastic. We've had some decisions that were the easiest in the world, others that we contemplated and kicked the can down the road a little bit, but others we came to a conclusion on, and I think everybody's decisions are with the best interest of our community at heart here at Let's Board. And we're just going to continue forward with transparency and common sense delivery of decisions from this board. I'm going to sit over there.
Next meeting.
Will you be still here? Yeah. I think that's, what is that? Yeah, I'll still be here. One more meeting.
Maybe planning on having an illness for the rest of the
Yeah, I think I can come on.
Is there any comment or somebody want to make that motion?
No.
Yeah,
That's nice.
Brian?
That's very nice, thank you.
Are you sleepy, Brian?
Yes, it is.
He's wiping a tear from his eye.
Yeah. So moved. I move we accept his resignation
Thanks,
with
Brian.
regrets. With regrets and a thank you.
I'll second it with regrets as well.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? I just want to say thank you.
Bob, can I
Oh,
say
go ahead.
something? This
Go
is
ahead.
Lisa Desjardins, and I just want to say thank you, Eric. You really did a
You're
good
welcome.
job, and we appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, I just wanted to echo the thoughts of the board here. Thought you did a great job. I personally think we have a very great dynamic on the board. We've got a lot of different opinions. I know sometimes it seems like we're all just in unison, you know, going through the motions and approving everything, but that's really not the case at all.
I still got the lumps from button heads that you were coming.
Yeah, I know. We do, there's five brains. I mean, we have different thoughts, and I appreciate that. This is really how democracy works, and this is how I think our federal government should work, you know, and not have some of the things we have the way that works.
Not really needed.
No, he's gonna be on the other side of the table, and then we're gonna be asking him for advice. I just want to thank you for that.
Much appreciated.
All in favor, say aye. Brian?
Aye.
The rest of the board?
With regrets, aye.
Motion is passed. I guess Eric abstained.
Knowledge.
Just if I may, at this point in time, just so everybody understands, Sarah's already drafted notice of vacancy. We'll post that tomorrow. I mean, we have 10 days to post it. We already have 4 applicants that are interested in the select board seat, but this is the official notice that now goes out on the select board on that vacancy. So my recommendation is to leave it up at least long enough for anybody else that didn't know about it.
For 10 days. I was gonna talk about that. When would we conduct interviews? I mean, that's the other thing that I don't know if we formally said, but we've all pretty much agreed to appoint somebody ourselves. I know that we could do it as an election, you know, there's really.
I think you have, if this is a different time frame without the year, I'd say you have 3 choices, either wait till town meeting. I don't view that as a valid option in this particular case because it's so far off the town meeting. Yeah. So your really 2 options are to appoint somebody or to hold a special election. So those are your options, and I don't think, you know, it's up to the board to decide how they want to proceed on that. But I think just in fairness, there is a statutory posting that has to happen of the vacancy. Sarah prepared to post that already, so we'll get that out tomorrow morning.
Right. I didn't know if the 4 candidates that have thrown their hat in the ring now did know that we are gonna appoint somebody. I think I've spoken to 1 or 2 of them, but I just want to make sure that's clear with all of us. We're planning to appoint. Brian, you know that as well, right?
Yes. I think it's a great idea. I think we had one other option. One option was we could have run with 4 until the next election, but I don't think we should do that either.
Right, that's not the responsible thing to do, but we can do that.
Yep. No, I think what we're doing is right.
So if we do the 10 days, we'd be looking at interviewing somebody the last week in June.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Lisa Desjardins again. Can you add them on the voting ballot for July?
We could, if it worked out that was what's gonna happen. We're not sure about that. We're not sure about this, article to be brought forward about ATVs, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
We're
and
not
the
sure
school
when it's
merger
gonna be yet. And rather than wait for that, I think the board has pretty much decided we wanna appoint somebody. So
Okay,
yeah.
I was just a suggestion, that's all.
No, it's a valid question, Lisa, thank you. So, yes, so I'm thinking, looking ahead, 7th today. So, I mean, we could start interviewing it to 17th or 18th, something like that.
Now, what's the statutory requirement again? We have 10 days.
We have 10 days posted, but we've, of course, obviously known that it's coming.
Right.
So we're ready to post it, so,
But then after it's posted,
you should give people time to apply.
right,
So maybe if we have, after a meeting on the 21st, we could interview people, because we could have a,
yeah, we'll see what we get for applications.
Right.
Because we may get more than those.
we might, that's right, we don't know.
So,
I mean, the official notice, I mean, I think there's a lot of people aware, once again, this is the official notice that goes out now. I think we could easily have whatever we get, by the 21st to the board in confidence, of course.
Right.
Although we don't know that since this is a job, this is really a public, I don't think you can keep it confidential, I guess, this isn't a job
Right.
application.
No, it's public.
So it would be public, thing, so we could put them in your packets next time around, that way everybody would know who's applying for the position on the select board.
That's for the 21st.
Select for the 21st, and then the board will, can
Yeah.
decide how to proceed.
I was just trying to make it clear tonight, well, we have one of the candidates listening tonight, so
So,
good for everybody to know.
then maybe with the board's permission, because we were discussing it today, we could say that any interest to the select board needs to be to the town administrator's office no later than noon on,
18th?
the 24th.
Oh, 24th, okay,
Because that gives us time to get them into those packets.
okay.
So we wouldn't be acting on anything till after the 4th of July.
I think you could set that up on the 21st and whenever you want to do it.
You said 24th.
You said the 24th.
I'm sorry.
That's like that 18th.
17th, I'm sorry.
Just 17th.
Okay,
I wrote it down, I'm sorry, you're right.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking 18th, but 17th.
17th or, close business on the 17th.
Okay.
Emails, it would be fine, that kind of stuff, we can just add that in there.
And then if they could be in the packet on the 21st, and it could be, right, sometime the week of the 21st, we could conduct interviews.
Like that.
Does that work out?
Yeah.
I want to try to get it figured out before, like,
Before we have the big.
sooner rather than later, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So we in agreement on that?
Yes.
That's okay. I know we don't expect much with that, but, that's good to bring that up again.
Thank you.
So next, approve the warrants. So I hear a motion for Gary. Motion by Gary, second by Judy. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Brian?
Aye.
The rest of the board?
Aye.
Motion is passed unanimously. Now we have TA report. Dan?
Just one major thing, I think, is that everybody doesn't know that we did find a hole in the Walton Road Bridge. Week and a half ago? Yeah, and we've known we've had a problem spot with it, so we've been monitoring it. It's there, we've had an engineer inspect it, on previous occasions, so we know it's there. We put temporary repair on it, and that'll at least get us through the winter. So there's no safety concerns right now, the engineers reviewed the repair's there, it's opened back up to normal traffic. So I have been consulting both with Eric and with Kevin on a path for them to move forward on, permanent repairs to that section. That particular bridge, is widened from one lane to two lanes at one point in time. I think the original bridge was built in the 50s, maybe? Yeah, I think it was expanded in the mid-70s, something like that. This is the original lane of the bridge. It's just concrete, it's just starting to wear out. That's all you can say about it. I mean, it's time for something to be done. So, but, you know, we've been looking at it. It's safe to use right now. We're continuing to monitor it. So, I think that's the most important thing. I think the other thing that's going on is Eric and I are once again just slowly transitioning things over to him, and I've been forwarding him emails that I know things that he's gonna have to take care of.
You got the chuckle?
Yeah.
They'll
Chuckle after every little comment.
Have a hard time holding it back.
So, you know, I think everybody's, of course, you're ready to have Eric come aboard and he can take over my office. We're even having it painted for him, so. Good to go. So,
When is your last day, Dan? When?
the retire party, I guess, is June 24th at noon at the VFW.
Okay.
So, and I think Eric's really going to be in and out of the office quite a bit next week. And then the 21st, you know, it's really kind of his from that point on.
The 21st, my official first day. I'll be in here at the end of next week. I'm out of town until Monday, through Monday, but I'll be in the office for a few days. The end of next week, and then the 21st, we'll start.
I mean, it's been, you know, it's been a slow transition. I've been able to ramp them up to speed on
That's
all
awesome.
things going on.
It's ideal, seriously.
Yeah.
Ideal transition. I'm not feeling like I'm like starting on the 21st with a fire hose pointed at me.
Yeah, you are.
Well, yeah. If I got a bigger trash can.
Fire hose never stop. You know?
Yeah, he's done a great job keeping me in the loop and guiding me, and he will continue to do so, I'm sure.
Great.
The only thing I can see that you're gonna have to do, Eric, is you're gonna have to get yourself a shorter pickup, because you're never gonna be able to park it.
I've talked to Mitzi about that. I'll make sure you drive a pickup truck that she can.
You'll hang over about that lot.
Right. Have to push through the wall. All right, any questions for Dan? I had a question, Dan, about, I was gonna bring up my concerns. I get asked quite frequently about townhouses being open. The town clerk is open to everybody now, the zoning, everything's open.
Everything's open.
Okay, because I kind of wanted to say it for the record, because I get asked almost daily, you know, can I go to the zoning office, can I go, is the door locked, you know, all of that.
No, but we put it out on our webpage or on our Facebook page, you know, so, the only, it's, once again, I think, you know, way a long time ago, we said we were gonna follow the governor's guidelines, and that's what we're doing right now.
Right.
So, I mean, the only thing that we're asking is if you're not fully vaccinated, then we still wear a mask. We're not asking, of course, or anything along those lines, it's kind of a courtesy thing. Staff-wise, I think everybody in this office has now had their second shot.
Yeah.
So, from that perspective, I think even hopefully within another week and a half, I think it's moving slower at the state level, but all the restrictions will be gone, so. But no, we've been open now for 2.5, 3 weeks now, something like that, I can't remember. And we've had no issues with anything.
Right.
So.
Well, people are still asking, but those are folks probably not on social media and all.
Yeah, so completely open.
I didn't catch it, but it never made it to the paper. I know Tommy's on tonight, but.
I believe that I did talk to somebody at the paper, but I think there was more focus put on, like, Stowe that was lifting restrictions.
Right.
And I
They didn't talk about more.
I think they did call me, I said, well, we're following governor's guidelines, and that's what we've always been doing.
Right.
So.
I knew, I just didn't, I wanted to say it for the public.
Yeah.
About Tommy.
So that's fine.
Okay. All right, any other questions for Dan?
Just was wondering, you sent us information about what's happening in Duhamel, Act 250.
There's nothing, I mean,
Nothing's
there's.
going on? Was there a
nothing-
meeting or something going to be happening with that?
Oh, there will be at some point in time, the hearing will be scheduled, but they haven't scheduled the hearing yet. I think everybody's agreed to get it done quickly, but I haven't seen anything. They have everything, the application, you know, all the questions have been answered. And they've got everything from us that they asked for. But I have no idea when the formal hearing will be scheduled.
Okay.
We don't have any control over that. We will get a notice, you know, so I have no idea when.
We'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully soon.
All right. Next, select board concerns. Brian.
I don't have a concern. I just want to say, I think the crosswalks really nice. The painted stop signs and stuff in the road looked really nice when I come through the other day. And also thank everybody for the flags. They look nice too.
Thanks, Brian. Gary?
Yeah, I was gonna kind of echo that as well, the new stop bars and the crosswalks, really good addition to town, and, the boys did a really good job. Looks good. I'll let them know.
Great, thanks, Gary. Judy?
I want to address, Brian, the last, select board meeting we had, I felt that you were unfairly targeted by a member of the community, and I just wanted to say, I don't know if I'm to apologize for that. I have nothing to apologize for, but I did notice it, and I'm sorry that you were targeted.
Thanks, Judy.
And also just the congratulations to Chris Clements and Jason Tallman, saw them on TV, and what a great job they did helping, the biker get the care that he needed.
Yeah, what was gratifying on that is that was patient initiated. That was started totally by Mr. Mitchell, who reached out to Channel 3 saying, hey, how do I find these people?
Wow. Well, it's just exciting also to see the process that went through. You don't think about having a bike accident, you're gonna puncture your lung and break all those bones and have someone have to put a needle in your lungs to get you started again. So that was pretty interesting.
He was critically injured when Chris and Jason found him.
Wow.
Great story.
So Bob,
Yeah, Brian?
thank you, Judy. I appreciate that. Just to let you know, I've had a lot of people out in the public come tell me, hey, they voted for me and that they still want me there. I found, and since I've been doing this, you can't make everybody happy. I just try to do my best to make the most people happy. But thanks, Judy.
You're welcome.
Good job, Brian.
Thanks.
Eric?
So my final act as a select board member is gonna be to, just to let you folks know that in the couple of months now that we've been doing this transition, it came to my attention really quickly that the condensed Reader's Digest version that we get of issues here is because of a tremendous amount of work that is, we've all suspected it, and I've seen it firsthand now, by the staff here in this building and by Dan. And Dan never toots his horn, because it's not the guy that he is. But I can tell you that when he talks to you about the Walton Road Bridge and the repairs been done and whatnot, that's the condensed end version of a couple of weeks of working with Kevin and local contractors and engineer and site visits and a lot of stuff, a lot of time commuting, a lot of phone calls. And they got that thing repaired and opened back up with very little interruption. And the only complaint I think that there was that there was traffic lights up there and people were stopping at the light. And you see the other side of the bridge, there's nobody there. How come there's a traffic light? Well, we're in a position of public safety. So we had to put them up. If somebody wants to take the liability and run the red light on the Walton Road Bridge, get across, that's their choice. But we had, so it was just, it was a great example of, I knew this was going to happen tonight. It was just like, oh yeah, we have a hole, we got this. There's a lot that goes on. He's done a fantastic job, continues to do so, and he has really handled my transition well enough that I am excited, nervous to start the 21st full time, but less nervous of the unknown because he has done a great job. Fantastic job with me. So,
That's great.
thank you very much.
Just in closing, it's been a great 13 years that I've been there. And I said it, and it really rings true to the day. The first thing I noticed when I came to Morristown for the interview, that there's a sense of community here that you don't see everywhere. And I think that still rings true today, and that's what makes this such a great place to work. The staff has always been exceptional. There's no one person in this building that can say, or even on staff, there's no one person here that can say they get anything done by themselves. It's just not possible, so when you have to work together to get anything done, and we do that all the time. It's been a great experience doing that. I really appreciate it. The board's always been very, very supportive of me, and they've let me do my job, and that's not always the case in places. I think you're tons of multitudes of things that go on a day-to-day basis here that the board never sees. And that's the way it's supposed to be, because the staff is doing their jobs. If you guys are seeing it, it's because we're not doing our jobs. You know, I think we have a good sense of what needs to be handled at a staff level, what our comfort level is, and what we think that, well, yeah, this needs to go to the board. Yeah, they're the policy makers here. But I think it's been a great working relationship across all those things with all the boards and the town staff. So once again, the reason why I don't take any credit, because I really don't do anything here, but make sure that we're all trying to move in the same direction. I think we've all done that well, so I appreciate it. It's been great, but I will tell you, I did my vote last week, so. Yeah, catch up with me when you can.
I'll tell you why you did that. Because I might have sent an email to Sarah to say that for the first 6 months I'm on the job, I'm going to continue to hand out his business card by putting his home address and phone number on. And Sarah informed me that I need longitude and latitude for directional finding because he's bought a boat and he's going to spend a lot of time on it.
Oh, he just realizes that I've already been handing out his business.
Go back and forth.
It is like.
All right. Yes, thank you. I did have a select board concern, right? But I'm going to play the devil's advocate just because I've been approached by members of the community about the incident that happened in Cades Falls. And as I understand it, it happened on Morristown property. And what it brings up has nothing to do with our great service and the volunteers that help this gentleman, but it does pose a risk to liability to the town for something like that can happen to somebody that might not be so incredibly grateful for what the rescue did for them. And of course, there's also, I hate to say it, but there's these ambulance chasing type of attorneys out there. They would actually go after somebody like that and say, look, you could sue the town for $500,000. You're injured and severely injured. And I've had a lot of people say, well, that's a huge liability. You're letting people use that land like that. And I did have a conversation with Gary about it. And I hated to bring it up, but it's a reality. And it makes me want to do some more research on the subject because it was a great thing, a great story, but as soon as I read it, I'm like, liability. And it might have been quite a different story had this gentleman not been the way he was, So, and I'm thankful for everything that happened, but it just makes you realize that type of incident could be a much different outcome. So I wanted to have that go on record tonight because I've had several people talking about it.
Yeah, I've had a few people talking to me about it as well. It's a concern, and I think probably one of the first things that Bob and I talked about.
Yeah.
Just need to have some thought, some input, and some investigation.
Actually, Eric and I already discussed that, and
I think you're on top of it.
yeah, I discussed some things, and I think there's some things. Once again, I don't think this is the right place for us to discuss about what staff may be recommending to the board later on. And Eric, and personally, when as happy as I was when Bill sent me the email, telling me how well we did, my first thought, of course, is the one
like mine.
was, where did it happen at? And it would probably been 30 seconds after I got the email from Bill, like, it didn't happen at. So, but
And from our perspective, we picked them up on Apple Road.
Right. Oh, it's at the trailhead.
So, no clue where it actually happened back there.
But me and Eric already discussed something regarding that.
I just wanted to have it go on record that we brought it up and we are going to do some investigation about it. But, it's a scary thing, these times it's a tough time. So that's all I had.
Because he had to get himself off the trailhead.
And he crawled for 45 minutes from where I
Yeah. That was pretty frightening.
to get to the parking lot.
Yeah.
To dial 911.
Yeah.
So, anyway. And as I understand, hearing from other people that go there all the time, it was on town property. So. Anyway. move on to old business. Is there any old business out there? Hearing none. Other business. Any?
Bob, I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
It's Lisa
Lisa?
Deschardex. So I have a question about next month's meeting about the ATV. Do you guys have any information about that? Any updates?
Yeah, that's a great question, Lisa. We actually found a moderator for the community-wide meeting. A gentleman by the name of Leighton Datora, who's more than qualified to do it. He graciously accepted to become the moderator for it, and the plan is to meet with him maybe sometime this week or in the next several days. We're going to go over not the venue, but the plan, how it's going to work, how it's going to run, and the process beyond it. And he actually was invited here this evening, but couldn't come. So we are going to meet with him outside of a meeting, and maybe 2 or 3 of us, and go over all that. And we will have a report. We'll have a report for the next meeting about it, and disclose how the meeting's going to go. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, for the most part. When will that be posted? Will it be when the agenda is posted that Friday before, or will it be done prior to that?
It'll be posted on the next agenda.
Okay,
Is that all right?
thank you. Yeah, of course.
Thanks
Do you
for asking.
know, of course, and then the ballot itself, do you know the wording about what that's gonna look like?
We don't. Well, one thing I want to clarify is that if and when the vote happens, this is not something that the town puts together. The article will not be written by us. The article will be written by the club. And so it's going to be however that article is written, it's going to come to us. I'm sure we'll review it and figure out if it's acceptable. There's some rules to go with putting an article together, and I'm sure it's going to go through Sarah and try to figure out, the best way to have it written so it's most understandable and so it's legally done. And that's another thing that maybe Leighton can help with. He's actually an attorney that's worked for.
Actually, I would recommend that Jim Barlow.
Another attorney.
Yeah, that's what he does is municipal law. We've got some great experience with him. I think Eric could probably, Jared can vouch for that.
Yeah.
He's really, really good at helping specifically towns with this kind of an issue.
Right.
So that's my recommendation when it comes time to do that, but to work with him to do that.
Okay.
So.
The ballot, that's the ballot.
Well, I think, that's, once again, that's a little way down, get through your meeting, decide how to move forward. Once again, it's another one of those things that Eric and I have already talked about from a staff perspective on how to move forward after that. One of the things that you don't want to do, select board has certain statutory rights here. You want to make sure that you don't give up those rights.
Right.
So the interest here is to make sure that you're acting in a legal manner with a ballot or an article that is correct. Quite honestly, that's above my head, but I also know that statute gives the select board certain authorities. You want to make sure that the board doesn't give up those authorities before. That's the reason why we've already talked to Eric about working with Jim Barlow on that to make sure that it's done. And he is the right person because he understands it. That's all he does is municipal law.
Okay.
And you won't find, I think, I won't say that, but from my perspective, he's the best attorney in the state to do that because he's got such a broad knowledge. That's all he's ever done.
That sounds good. Lisa, does that answer your question? We don't have a date.
Yep, nope, that's good. But I also, you said that the group has to do that. Now, I made a proposal for permission for the 2 roads. I haven't heard anything about that. So is that, I don't want that to be mixed in with the GMATV. I want that to be something separate because I'm not involved with them. So if that's, what if they drop their proposal?
We'd have to meet, we can get a hold of you when we talk to Jim Barlow and you can be, also in on that, so you'll have a separate one.
Okay, and if GMATV doesn't give you another proposal, is next month's thing all over?
And no, the next,
They've already given us.
they've given us another proposal right now.
Okay, that's not listed on the website, so I did not know that for sure.
Isn't it listed on the website, Sarah? Yeah, they're there, it's there.
Oh, I didn't see it, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, it is there. But, yeah, we will make sure that you're in on all of this. I understand it's a separate thing.
So I'm looking at it and I don't see it on here. The calendar, so I'm looking at our community under ATV related. The last thing,
May 25th, 2021.
so, oh, okay,
That's their
That's
latest
the-
proposal.
that's their newest one. Okay, thank you very much, Dan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
May I ask a question? This is Talia Brooks.
Hi, Talia, go ahead.
So back to, I didn't want to interrupt when you guys were discussing this, but can you explain the reasoning behind why you guys are going to just appoint a new select board member? It would seem that we're having maybe an election on ATVs soon. Wouldn't that make more sense to just have a re-election for the new select board member rather than an appointee?
We can do that. It all depends on what we want to do. We actually, as a select board, we have the authority to do it. We have the authority to say, look, we want to appoint somebody, or we don't want it. We want to have it be election. So, and all of us on the board felt like we want to appoint somebody. And that's something we're well within our statute limitations to do.
Sure, I recognize that. I'm not trying to take anything away
That's
from
what we've done, actually, that's what we've done several times in the past. I can think of maybe 5 times that I've been on that we've done just that. In fact, we've never done a special election to appoint a select board member, as far as the last 13, 14 years goes. Brian probably can go further back than that. But, so it's very customary to have the board appoint somebody. We advertise the position, then we have interviews, and then we choose the candidate we like the best. So, and really, at the end of the day, to answer your question in real terms, is our board has more power that way. We can actually choose who we want to be on the board. To put it simply.
And they have to go for re-election,
Right.
when their seat would be.
That's another good point.
Yeah.
They'll have to run for re-election. They'll have to run for re-election next town meeting.
Yeah.
In order to fulfill my 3-year term.
Right.
Did you hear that, Talia?
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. I didn't understand the process here.
Right. No, that's a great question. I appreciate you asking them.
And we aren't even sure, like you said, if and when there is an election. There is nothing at this point looming in the immediate future, election-wise. So to put this decision off until some arbitrary date, we don't even know when it's going to happen, would really be a disadvantage to any of the candidates, because we push into budget season in October, and we all know that takes a concerted amount of effort, and to be thrown into it right in that time frame would be very, very tough.
There's a lot between now and then. It's important to learn. That's why the sooner the better. That's as far as I'm concerned.
So you think the ATV vote might be pushed off quite a ways, and then that would just not make sense at that point to have?
Well, we haven't decided that yet, but I have had some conversations with our town clerk, and we've talked about the possibility of having the vote happen sometime in July. But it is possible that it may not be in July, because Sarah is actually going to be gone for the last 2 weeks of July.
Mhm.
It would be possible to do in July.
Right.
There's a minimum of 30-day warning for it.
Right.
So, that's the minimum.
Okay, because we talked about, 30-day warning. So we're going to be into August.
Okay.
I'm also going to be away for 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
It would just seem to me that it would be an easy, if it's in August, it would be a fairly easy thing to add a select board member position to that vote. Since everybody will be coming together anyways, but I recognize that you guys also have authority to do what you see fit.
No, great question, Kelly. I appreciate that. I guess we're kind of doing what we're used to doing, because like I said, we've done it so many times before that way, and we prefer to do it that way. I guess they'd say that.
Why do you prefer to do it that way?
I guess because, like I said, we actually have more power to appoint who we want. And that's, I think in our position, we have a really good view of who we want to have.
But aren't you all elected officials anyways?
Right. That's true. And they will be elected when the new town meeting comes next
Hey,
year.
Bob?
Yeah,
Bob?
go ahead, Brian.
Well, one of the reasons I think I want to do it is because we want to get somebody in there soon so we can get into what the business that we need to do. We're not even sure there's going to be a vote, when there's going to be one. So that's one of the reasons I'm all for interviewing the people that are stepping forward and picking one. And then when the election comes up and town meeting day, then they can run again. The same people can
Oh
have
yeah,
some.
that totally makes sense to me. I
Okay.
get that. I'm just thinking that if we already are having another election for something else right off here in the next month or so, that it would make more sense to have someone who's elected. And then wouldn't that kind of eliminate and I don't know, because I don't know what the law says there, would they have to be re-elected in the town meeting if they already got elected this summer? Maybe that doesn't make sense, but I'm not sure.
It still has to be.
I would have to confer with Sarah on that.
Right, and Sarah knows that, but I think that is the way it is. I've talked to her about that. Even if we elect somebody, it's only till the next town meeting. I think so. I'm pretty sure I asked her that question.
It would be great if you could clear that up. I would love to know the answer just for my own education on how this goes.
Yep.
Again,
I
think
have a comment. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Lisa again. So I don't understand, I guess, if you guys you have the authority to make the decision of appointing somebody, how come you're not choosing to make the decision about the ATV? Like, I think
Well, Lisa,
both topics are pretty high up there, like in opinions and whatnot. I just didn't know how you can pick and choose.
Yeah, I don't feel that that's similar in any way. Appointing somebody to fill out the rest of Eric's term until next town meeting is much different than deciding on a very split, contentious issue with the town. And I guess I say that because I've been subject to many emails and phone calls and texts and you name it, from every side of this thing. And that tells me, as I said a long time ago, that this should be a town vote. And I do not feel that way at all about appointing a select board member. We've got some great candidates. We've got some candidates now that they're tuned into every meeting and paying attention. And I think we're ready to pull the trigger and get one.
Perfect. That's perfect answer. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Is there any other comments?
Yeah, this is Shelley Severinghouse, Morristown resident. Thinking again on that it sounds like whatever goes to a vote is going to be drafted by the ATV club or an individual. Just wondering, besides the legal aspect of, making sure that it kind of checks all those boxes, what other review process is going to be used? I mean, I had brought up a few questions last meeting around kind of the who gets access and when there's access, and I haven't seen that in the revised proposal around any time frame in terms of months of the year or times of day. I haven't seen anything around just residents or public access, and so really just wanting to see that, and I think that's quite important to something that would be put forth to a townwide vote. Thank you.
Yeah, great questions, all of them, but we don't have answers to any of them.
I just put this out there, Shelley. A lot of what you're asking for on the specifics would be questions answered as a result of the vote. It wouldn't be something in the vote itself, because the board would have the authority. If the vote happened and it was approved in whatever form it came out, and this is very generic, but the board has the authority to set whatever limitations are necessary. So we're asking about time of year, month of year they're open, the time of day they're open, that kind of stuff. Who can use it? Who can use it? That all comes down, it wouldn't be a part of the article, because that would make the article about a page and a half long.
Yeah.
It would be, those questions would be answered after the vote, and only if the vote it was in the affirmative for, in some measure, of the ATV being on the roads. The board would then deliberate on how to regulate that. If that helps, I don't know.
I think the who part, that does, I appreciate that, Eric, thank you. The who part, though, to me, plays a very big role. Because public access, meaning people from anywhere in Vermont, anywhere in New England, anywhere, versus Morristown residents or VAFTA members is going to certainly influence the way someone may consider the impact that may have on the town.
Yeah, we don't know yet. But we would develop a framework like Eric's talking about in the event that the thing passed in an affirmative way. Then we would figure that all out.
Thank you for answering my questions.
The new thing for Morristown anyway, it's same thing I said, a very contentious thing that it'll be great once this thing happens and we have a vote and we can figure it out.
I also just want to thank you for.
No ATV talk.
Can you imagine?
Purposely did not put anything on the agenda about ATVs, and I said, "You wait, we're going to put that on ATVs." And wow, I still get emails, not daily, but probably every other day about ATVs.
Well, I do
Anyway,
just want to say thank you for securing the moderator. I appreciate you pursuing that. I think that's quite critical to it being a productive conversation.
Yeah, thank you. All right, is there any other comments?
Yeah, make a motion to adjourn.
Can you do that?
Mayor?
Second.
I have a motion by Eric and a second by Judy. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Brian?
Aye.
The rest of the board?
Aye.
Motion is passed unanimously. Thank you.